What's up, man? Good to have you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to see you in person.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. Appreciate you having me on, man.
How you liking Tallahassee so far?
It's good, man. It's good. I enjoy it, man. It's a good city, hella chill, but it's like a big city, but then it's kind of like a small town, like a smaller feel, like if you want to go to like a certain area, but there's still a lot to do. Like compared to where I've been at, this is definitely a lot better.
Yeah, I think of us as like a small college town, but then it's like, I mean, Corvallis and, Clemson are.
It's a lot. It's a true college town, like Clemson, true college town, small. And then Corvallis, smaller, not as small as Clemson, but then you got Tallahassee, state capital.
Yeah.
You got a city, like a downtown area for real, like big buildings. So that part's pretty dope.
How much was your time in Corvallis? Like, does that have kind of a West Coast feel, like what you were used to from high school, or is it entirely different from that?
Totally different. I mean, I grew up in like Southern California, and like Southern California is busy as hell. Like you got everything you want in Southern California. I grew up like 45 minutes from LA. I went to school in Bellflower, which is like 20 minutes from downtown LA. So there's always stuff to do in Southern California, no matter where you're at. So like Corvallis, like it has more of a West Coast feel. I guess like the people in there, like the people there, like a more West Coast type. I think East and West Coast is totally different. So like there's more of a West Coast feel from there. Being in Corvallis, but it's totally different from where I lived at. Like the weather is probably the biggest change. Like it rained.
It has actual seasons.
Yeah, it rained. Everybody say it rained, and it's cloudy for a long time. Like you don't see the sunlight for a couple months. Like when I got there, it rained for like 3 months straight. And I was like, golly.
We'll get off the topic of rain. I mean, aside from the obvious question, just what was it like? The first time you get here, you've gone through the transfer portal recruitment, the first time putting on like the garnet and gold. I mean, was there kind of a surreal moment of like, oh man, this is.
Man, honestly, I still haven't even put on like the real uniforms, like the garnet and gold. I still haven't even put it on. I only put on the helmet. But even putting on the helmet, man, it's dope. Like, I mean, I think like all the tradition that comes with being here at Florida State and the legacy that people left here at Florida State, and just like what Florida State means to a lot of people, and then just to the world of college football. I mean, it's a true honor to be here, and it's special to be able to put on the garnet and gold and be able to put on that helmet.
Yeah, man, you're making fans by the second. I'm sure watching this. And folks, again, throw questions in the chat. We'll get to them. But you've seen some really winning programs. I mean, your high school was one of the premier programs in the country. You went to Clemson back when y'all were competing for championships every year. Won the ACC 3 times in a row while you were there. Oregon State had a pretty good program for the 2 years before you got there and while you were there. What are some things about here, whether it's coaching, culture, what have you, that are similar to these other winning programs you've been at?
Yeah, I think first of all, I think Florida State's definitely different than every place I've been in a good way. Like Coach Norvell, he's one of a kind. I haven't met a coach like him in my time of playing the game of football, college or high school. Like the intensity, the level of focus, and just the way he's able to lead a team, it's impressive. And like just like I know a lot of people talk about like his intensity and like how much energy he brings and how much like drive and like it's crazy how much energy he brings to a team and brings to a locker room. I mean, I think that's why Florida State is the way they are right now, and how they've been able to just the time Coach Norvell has been here, it's just been on the rise. And like you could just tell me when I came here and got to meet him for my visit and got to see the culture that he's built from him and all the other staff and the coaches that he has on the staff. It's like, it's evident why they were 13-0 last year and had an unbelievable season.
I think the craziest thing when when I get to watch practice, at least, that I see from Coach is how he's very much that CEO that's watching everything and kind of observing, but he can also flip from looking at the whole field to offering very detailed, minute corrections on something. Is that normal for most head coaches, or is that just something Norvell brings that's different?
I think that's just Norvell. I think that's just the way he is. Like, he sits back there and watches everything, but then all of a sudden he'll like get me on the mic, like, cause I have a helmet cam, like, cause we all in our helmet cam, so it's like the NFL. So I got an earpiece in my helmet. So all of a sudden he'll like be watching the play and he'll tell me something right out the blue, and like just something super tiny. I didn't even know he's looking at me or sees what I'm doing, and he'll just say something like, hey, watch your left foot here, and just little stuff. And like it's just crazy how focused and detailed he is and how much he sees throughout practice.
Yeah, because in practice you don't have like 15 seconds of the play clock. That thing cuts off, I guess.
Direct
line to it all the time.
Yeah, he got a direct line the whole time. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love Coach Norvell, but I don't know if I'd want that in my job. So Brett Taylor asked to give folks feel free to fire away with questions. We'll run through these. For DJ, I'm a Knoll through and through, but I respect Dabo. What's the biggest similarity between Norvell and Dabo, and what's the biggest difference?
Man, that's tough. I think first and foremost, I think they're both great coaches in their own different ways. Like Coach Swinney, he was a great coach. I loved him, enjoyed him, and he was a blessing in my life. I want to be where I am without him today. But I think it's kind of hard. I think, obviously they're great coaches, but then they're different. Mm-hmm. Like I think Norvell, like the energy, the intensity he brings day in and day out, like he's the same person each and every day, from the energy to the focus to like whatever we're doing. And if it's at 9 o'clock at night or like 5:30 in the morning, like he always says good morning, which which is crazy. I'm like, dude, it's 9 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. And he's telling me good morning, which I still haven't like totally got onto it, but I heard he does that because he just like, that's just the way he's wired. And he just wants like, he's just wired in that way, and he's screaming good morning. It's not just like, hey, DJ, good morning. He's like, nah, he's like, hey, good morning, DJ, like screaming to the whole team. Like I think that's probably the biggest difference. Like just the intensity, day in, day out, and the focus that he brings and the energy he brings.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. This past weekend, we saw a video from like a charity event. You know, he's like, hey, how's everyone doing? You know, and the was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a charity thing. You could just give him a pass, but no.
Just like, hey, what's up, everybody? Coach Norvell here. But nah, he's that's what I'm saying. Like, he's the same person, and that's one thing I really respect a lot. It's like he's real genuine about what he says and what he means, and he really lives it. And that's something like, it's easy to follow somebody like that. When you can tell, I trust this guy because I see it day in and day out, what he bleeds and like what he preaches is like what he lives.
It's awesome to hear. So Nick Snyder wants to know, having played on each coast, that's a good question. What are the big differences between football on the East and West Coast, if any?
Man, what are the big differences? I think the Pac-12, I know the Pac-12 gets a bad rap from a lot of people on here on the East Coast. I think the Pac-12 football, it was great, especially last year. It was probably the best the Pac-12 has been in a long time. And honestly, I would probably say the biggest difference is the guys up front. In the ACC, from like the box standpoint, the guys are bigger. Yeah. You know, like the linebackers, the ends, and they're bigger and faster. And I think that's probably the biggest difference from East to the West Coast. Like you can't, like the guys bred out here in the South you can't find that on the West Coast. I mean, it is what it is. You know, I'm a West Coast guy, and it's hard for me to say that, but that's just what it is. Like the D tackles, the D ends, the linebackers, everybody's huge, and everyone runs like 4.5s, 4.4s. And it's like you're 300 pounds running like a 4.6. It's like, dude, that doesn't make no sense. Or like you're tackling quarterbacks in the backfield, like chasing them down, hawking them down. Like I think that's the biggest difference, the guys up front.
Makes sense. Briley wants to know, DJ, with this being your third playbook in 3 years, what is the most demanding aspect of this offense? And what aspect of the offense do you anticipate excelling at the most?
I think, it's my third offense in 3 years. Yeah. I mean, it's my fourth coordinator in my time here. So it's definitely been a journey, but it's been great. I think the offense that Coach Norvell and Coach Atkins and all the other staff have put together is an unbelievable offense here at Florida State. I think they do a great job of using the run game and the pass game, pairing it together. A great deal of play action, RPO, sprint out, naked games. I feel like we do a lot of good things, and we run a lot of counter, run a lot of wide zone. Like we do a lot of stuff in this offense. But the biggest thing that I like a lot that is probably challenging in the beginning for me right now, just learning, but it takes day-by-day process, is all the different checks we have. Okay. Some other places I've been, I haven't had too many checks where I'm able to get to the line and check a different play versus a certain look. They give you all the answers here and give you all the keys to the answers, the different looks. Like, hey, this is the play, but this is the look that you get. Like, hey, we want to check this, or like certain fronts, like this is what a good play is for this front. So it's super cool to be able to have all those checks. Feel like you're in the NFL having different checks. Like you check out the line, hey, check the play here, check the run. But at the same time, it's a lot. But you got to take it day in and day out.
I think one thing that is really apparent if you look on the stat sheet about a Mike Norvell offense is he likes to use a lot of receivers, likes to have a lot of people catch the ball. And,
Definitely.
I think one talking point that us fans hear a lot is, a quarterback needs to establish the rhythm and the timing with their receivers. Oh, yeah. How do you go about establishing that rhythm with knowing so many different guys are going to catch the ball, and you can't just find your one favorite?
I think the one thing nice about here is we got a lot of targets. There's a lot of good receivers, tight ends, and running backs for me to throw to, and all the other quarterbacks. Like, it's nice. It's not like you got one. Like, I only have one guy I can throw the ball to. Like, I got a handful of guys. This dude, he's gonna make a play. He's gonna make a play. Like, I don't gotta worry about like, dang, like, I might throw this receiver. Like, he might not get open. Like, no, I know he's going to get open. But like you saying, Coach Norvell uses a lot of the guys on the offense that, like, his play calling and the way he schemes is attraction and why I want to be here, and how he develops quarterbacks and what he was able to do with Jordan Travis. And Jordan Travis is an unbelievable quarterback from when he started here, and then he just got better each and every year. And I seen that be here in the ACC and witnessing that firsthand was like, man, like Coach Norvell and Coach Tokart are doing something good over there at Florida State. Like, you could just tell, like, they're developing quarterbacks, developing players, and getting them to be the best version of themselves.
For sure, man. So a little lighter on the schematic, Zach Ainge wants to know, which game are you most looking forward to playing in? Ireland, Clemson, or the ACC Championship?
Man, honestly, I would probably just say, there's a couple. I'm excited for the season, but probably say just the first game, man. I think for me, man, I just want to take it one game at a time. Like, so playing Georgia Tech in Ireland is going to be super crazy. I've never been outside the country before.
Okay.
Yeah, so being able to play in Ireland, that's going to be crazy in itself. There's no other team doing that this year, so that's going to be pretty crazy. But for me, I'm most excited for game one.
Yeah.
Playing Georgia Tech. And I feel like that's where the season starts off at, man. You don't want to look too far ahead to ACC Championship, Clemson, whatever team, Boston College, whatever it is. But, like, for me, man, I'm focused on the first game.
For sure. And it's a perk. It gets to be in Ireland.
Yeah.
Double Fries, no slaw, wants to know, DJ, the people need to know, and I can translate this question if you haven't gotten around to this in Tallahassee, slaw or nah? Meaning, have you been to if you've been to Guthrie's yet? They got the chicken platters and all that. Do you get coleslaw or no?
I ain't been there yet. I've seen it, but I just ain't
Just generally, like, as a West Coast guy, are you a coleslaw
guy? Most likely not. Like, when I go to Canes, I get an extra piece of toast. So I get the extra toast on the side. So I'm not. Yeah, I don't know if I'm for the coleslaw like that.
It's an acquired taste. Girl Master wants to know, how have you been shaped by your college experience? What do you think has been the most important lesson you've learned so far?
Man, for me, man, I think God's given me unbelievable testimony and unbelievable story to be able to live out. I've thanked him my whole way through college, like my journey and like what I've been through since when I've been in college has been amazing. Like, I've learned a lot. I've grown from a lot, had a lot of ups and had a little bit of downs here and there. But for me, man, I think the biggest thing I learned, my faith has grown a tremendous amount of being in college. I've always been a believer. Jesus Christ always been my Lord and Savior. But for me, man, I never really had too much adversity growing up and in the game of football or just anything in life. And then you come in, when I was at Clemson, I had a little bit of adversity, dealing with some. And for me, man, I just really learned how to lean on my faith and trust in Jesus and everything he's done in my life. It just blessed me. So I feel like that's the biggest thing I learned in college, just like how to truly trust in the Lord with whatever you have on your plate.
Yeah, and it's taking you on an incredible journey. I think sitting here with you, in the times we've gotten to talk before, man, one of the coolest things is just how humble you are. You are one of the highest rated quarterbacks to ever come out of high school. You played a perennial national title contender. You won conference championships. You've done it all over the place, and you're like one of the nicest dudes that's just sitting here. And I don't know if I would handle that stardom at a young age the same way, and it's pretty cool, man.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
So David B wants to know, have you thought about, this is a good question. Have you thought about how you'll celebrate your first touchdown as a Seminole?
No, I have not. I haven't thought about that.
You not working on something yet?
Nah, I ain't even thought about that. I'll probably hit like a tomahawk chop. Probably hit a chop.
You hit that for the first?
Yeah, I'll probably hit that. Point it to the sky, thank the Lord. But I have no clue yet. I'll think about that. I appreciate him for saying that.
Yeah, we'll definitely make sure we got something cooked up for Ireland, man. But it's been awesome to sit down with you. Thank you for giving the fans some time and letting them get some insight into you. And folks, just again, keep your eyes on the highlight footage that's all over the internet, because it's been cool to watch you come along. And we look forward to talking to you again, man.